Hey there, welcome to another video. This time we're going to be talking about grammar strategies in review. And we're only going to talk about two types of grammar rules that are common on the SAT writing section. And that would be subject-verb agreement. And then the next one will be on fragments / incomplete sentences. So let's talk about subject-verb agreement. I think that's pretty obvious when you have a disagreement. It's when the subject and verb disagree in number. So the subject might be plural, whereas the verb might be singular, or vice versa. So the important thing is find the verb, find the noun doing that verb, meaning the noun that goes with the verb, take out any phrases in between the subject and the verb, and then read the two together and see if they agree. To kind of take this another step further, look for prepositions. Preposition words like of, out, in, on, off, about, with, to, etc. Because usually the subject comes before the preposition. Okay? Usually the subject comes before the preposition. So let's look at number one. The region, one of the largest of all the Canadian provinces, are inhabited by many wild species of animals. So they do mention provinces, but the thing is that you see the preposition of, and you see they're talking about a region, and they even use the word one as well. So are would not be okay, because that's singular. So this has to be singular. So we gotta say is. So that's how we would fix it. So obviously there's a disagreement here. They disagree, and it has to be is. Let's look at another one. Christopher Columbus, probably the most famous explorer known to Americans, was actually from Genoa, Italy. So, again, we do mention to take out any phrases in between. So that's one thing you could do. So this is just a description about Christopher Columbus. But what we really care about is the subject and the verb. And here they're okay, because Christopher Columbus is singular, and was is also singular. So here we have an agreement. So this is all good. Number three is kind of interesting. The development of baseball stadiums have increased tenfold over the past 50 years. So what you might want to do is pause the video, ask yourself, what do you think is happening here? If there is a mistake, how would you fix it? Once you feel you know what it should be, play the video and see if you're right. So, if you think about it, development of baseball stadiums, you see the preposition of. Subject tends to come before the preposition. So the subject is development, not the baseball stadiums. And here you have the word have. That's singular. You didn't say developments, you said development. Singular. So this has to be has, not have. Have is plural, has is singular. So we need to say has. If you said baseball stadiums have increased, sure, but we're talking about development. This is a tough one. Shaq, along with his teammates, have entered the building to allow some innovation by all the fans in attendance. So, a bit tricky, but along is still a preposition. You don't use the word and. If you say Shaq and his teammates, have been a different story. But this is still singular. So if you had Shaq and ... then that whole thing would be plural. But if you use the word along, that's a preposition. It's just Shaq. So this has to be has. And then finally, see the preposition in? We're talking about the language, not the poems. The unclear language of Lucille Clifton's poems often make Should it be make or makes? Remember, language is singular, not saying languages, saying language. But that's plural. You could say the poems make the reader feel, but we're not talking about the poems as the subject, we're talking about the language. So you gotta say makes. So there are a few problems they should try for practice here, 1 through 4. What I recommend you do is pause the video, work these out. Either you could, work on your binder. Actually, yeah, work on your binder because you have it there, and see if you get the same answers I do. So definitely pause the video, and then I'm going to go over these right now. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video and work these out. If we look at this one, you're talking about the Brooklyn Bridge, and you see the preposition only one, so it's singular, so it should be is. And so A and B are out, as well as E. C is a bit awkward, so I'll go D on that one, is the most well-known. So you go through process elimination when you approach these kind of questions. These are the improving sentence questions, where A is always the original. And they'll usually give you about 2 or 3 options that will fix a mistake, but then only one of them is going to work because the other ones might have something else wrong with it. Like C fixes the subject-verb disagreement, but then it just sounds awkward. D sounds more clear. Number 2, now we have the word and, so it is plural. So in this case, it should be just lead, not leads. These are called identifying error questions because you want to identify the mistake and clear there's a mistake with A. Everything else is all good. So here's mob. So even though you do see the word and, the subject is still mob, it's a group. The group has assembled, not have assembled. And again, we did see a preposition back in number 2 of, but we were talking about 2 things, elegant posture and display of foot stance. But here we see of and just one subject, mob, right 4. Here you see 2, subject listening, that's singular. Not enhance, but enhance is. So A is out. C is out because again we have singular. If you look at B, D, and E, I like B. D sounds a bit awkward. I would probably go with B because it has the right parallel structure. That's one we'll talk about later. But enhances children's understanding of and appreciation for. So there's children have 2 things: the children understanding of and appreciation for. So things are structured the same way. So we go with B instead of D or E. And plus D kind of changes the meaning anyway.